The flames danced and illuminated their faces. The group of friends knew they were in for a night of frightening tales. The moon hung low in the sky. The first to start was Dave, who cleared his throat and began his story. There was once a man named Charlie who lived in this very forest. He was an old man who had lived alone for as long as anyone could remember. Some said he was a hermit, while others believed he was a witch. He spoke, his voice filled with suspense. The group listened intently as Dave went on. One day, a group of teenagers had dared each other to enter Charlie's cabin. As soon as they stepped inside, they felt a cold shiver run down their spines. They heard something moving in the darkness, but they couldn't see anything. Suddenly, a gnarled hand reached out and grabbed one of them. The group jumped at the unexpected jump scare, but soon erupted in laughter. "Oh, Dave, you're such a joker," Sarah teased, poking fun at his feet tricks, but immediately realized it wasn't Dave. He was at the other side of the camp. "I wonder who or what just reached out since it wasn't Dave." "I'm really scared," Sarah said. Just then things were getting slung around the area, but whatever was there appeared to be invisible. As the group huddled closer together, their laughter faded into nervous silence. Sarah's heart raced as she clutched onto her friend's arm tightly. "Did you see that? Something's out there," Sarah whispered, her voice trembling. Tom, one of the more adventurous friends, scoffed, trying to downplay the situation. "It's probably just an animal. You know how our minds play tricks on us in the dark." "But it grabbed one of us," Sarah insisted, her eyes scanning the shadows for any sign of movement. "This isn't a joke anymore." Dave, the real storyteller, chimed in from across the camp. "There's something in the woods," Sarah called back. Tom added, "Something invisible." Dave and the others rushed over, bringing a flashlight to investigate. As the beam of light cut through the darkness, the friends saw their belongings strewn around the campsite, seemingly tossed about by an unseen force. What could be doing this? Mark wondered, his voice quivering. Dave furrowed his brow. "I don't know, but maybe it's connected to the story. Let's be cautious, just in case." As they gathered their scattered belongings, the feeling of being watched intensified. It seemed like the forest itself was alive, and there were unwelcome guests in its domain. "Maybe we should leave," suggested Lisa, nervously glancing around. "No way," said Tom, trying to put on a brave front. "We can't let some invisible prankster ruin our night." But just as Tom spoke, a loud, haunting laugh echoed through the woods, sending chills down their spines. The laughter seemed to be coming from all directions, as if the very air itself was mocking them. "Okay, now I'm definitely freaked out," Mark admitted, his tough demeanor crumbling. "Let's stick together," Dave said, trying to sound calm and authoritative. "We need to stay close and find out what's going on." They huddled together, using the flashlight to scan the area, but the laughter continued, growing louder and more sinister. It was as if the forest was playing tricks on them, toying with their fear. As they moved cautiously through the woods, the air grew thick with tension. Suddenly, the laughter stopped, replaced by an eerie silence. The group felt a weight pressing down on them, a sense of impending doom. "I don't like this," whispered Sarah, her voice barely audible. Then, out of nowhere, a voice spoke directly into their minds. "Leave this place, or face the consequences." The friends froze, their eyes wide with terror. It was as if the very forest itself was warning them to leave. Dave spoke bravely. "Who are you? What do you want?" No response came, but the sensation of being watched intensified. The moonlight seemed to wane, and the darkness enveloped them further. "We should go," Lisa said, her voice shaking. But just as they turned to leave, a figure materialized before them. It was a tall, shadowy figure with glowing eyes, hovering just above the ground. The friends gasped, unable to move as fear rooted them to the spot. In a voice that sent shivers down their spines, the figure spoke. "You have trespassed in my domain, and now you must pay the price." The friends' hearts pounded in their chests as they faced the mysterious entity. The suspense was unbearable. As the figure loomed before them, Sarah's mind raced, desperately searching for a way to escape. She mustered the courage to speak, her voice shaking. "We didn't mean to intrude. We were just telling stories around the campfire. Please, we'll leave right now." The figure remained silent for a moment, its glowing eyes seeming to study each of them. Then, in a low, haunting voice, it replied, "Ignorance does not absolve you of your actions. This forest is ancient and sacred, and your presence here disrupts the balance." Mark stepped forward, trying to reason with the mysterious entity. "We didn't know. We'll be more respectful from now. Just let us go, and we promise never to return." The figure seemed to consider their words, and the tension in the air grew even thicker. The group dared not move. "Very well," the figure finally spoke. With those words, the figure dissolved into shadows, leaving the friends in stunned silence. As the darkness lifted, the moonlight returned, and the oppressive atmosphere eased. Yet the sense of awe and dread lingered. Dave glanced at his friends, his expression a mix of relief and disbelief. "I can't believe what just happened," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. "We should have listened to the warning from the start," Lisa said, her eyes wide with realization. Tom nodded solemnly. "Yeah, I never should have brushed off Sarah's fear." The group made their way back to the campfire, their minds reeling from the encounter. The laughter and excitement that had filled the air earlier were replaced by an uneasy silence. "What was that thing?" Sarah asked, her voice trembling. "I don't know," Dave admitted, "but it's clear that this forest holds secrets we can't fully comprehend." As they gathered around the campfire, they decided to pack up and leave the forest immediately. The night had taken a chilling turn they hadn't anticipated, and their sense of adventure was replaced by a need for safety. As they walked back along the dark forest path, their imaginations continued to run wild. They couldn't help but wonder about the stories they had heard and the entity they had encountered. The forest had come alive in a way they had never imagined, and the lines between reality and myth seemed to blur. Back at their homes, the group couldn't shake off the eerie feeling that followed them from the forest. The events of the night replayed in their minds, and they found it difficult to sleep. Over the next few days, they tried to rationalize what they had experienced. Some believed it was just a well-orchestrated prank, while others couldn't deny the otherworldly nature of the encounter. But one thing was certain, they would never forget that night in the forest. It had forever changed their perception of the world, leaving them with a newfound respect for the unknown and a lingering sense of unease whenever they thought of the ancient woods. From that day on, the group kept their promise never to return to that part of the forest. Their campfire stories now serving as a cautionary tale for others. And so, the legend of the mysterious entity in the woods spread among campers and hikers, adding to the forest's already eerie reputation. But as for what really happened that night, they would never truly know. The mysteries of the forest remained hidden, its secrets guarded by an enigmatic presence that would forever haunt their memories. And so, the friends' campfire tales continued, leaving a sense of suspense that lingered long after the stories were told.